we have eating disorders, and the two of them that I think everyone knows is anorexia and bulimia. So these consist of an incorrect self-image and usually at a young age pressure of peers. These people usually harm themselves and have obsessive thoughts. Their whole life revolves around this one topic, and many people think that if someone is not obese or not underweight, then they don't have these problems, but it is a mental problem. So someone can be an average weight and still have anorexia, and I think this is really important to remember.
When it comes to health, there are a lot of controversial topics, for example, genetic engineering. When I first heard about it, I didn't really know what this meant, but traditionally humans have manipulated gnomes directly by controlling breeding and selecting offspring with desired traits. So genetic engineering happens naturally as well, but I think when we talk about it, the first thing that comes into people's mind is when scientists are modifying genes in a lab in order to create superhumans or people with better abilities than the others. It is mainly used for introducing new and favorable characteristics into the organisms, such as tolerance to chemical herbicide or resistance to insect attacks.
There are different types of sex discrimination. The first one is a direct one, when someone calls you just, for example, for being transgender or a woman. The second one is indirect discrimination. It's not intentional, but it's so in our society that it can be missed. And the third one is harassment. It's physical and it's probably the most brutal one. And the last one is victimization. It occurs when someone tries to stand up for someone else, but they are being belittled just because of it.
We have a lot of issues among families. There is no such thing as a perfect family. Even the simple arguments are common every day, and it's not necessarily a problem. However, issues like jealousy and fighting between brothers and sisters, parents' argument, divorce or separation can really affect a child's mind and personality, and it can lead to the child not wanting to have a family in the future if we do not take care of these problems.
So, what's the importance of involving yourself in politics and political discussions? Well, first of all, politics decide a lot of things in your lives. Back in the Middle Ages, it did not really matter whether you were ruled by this king or another king. You were just a simple peasant who paid taxes. Maybe during wars it could have mattered, but otherwise it wasn't really a hot topic. But nowadays, it does decide everyday life. Politics are present everywhere, and they are always being talked about, and we just cannot ignore it. Wherever we look, we see politics, global politics, internal politics, controversies regarding a person, and we really cannot get over it.
The second reason behind consumerism is called globalization. Of course, globalization already began after the discovery of America because of the world trade, but we consider the start of the real globalization when phones and the internet was invented, because then the communication connected the whole world as well. And thanks to these, more variety became available for the customers, because different brands from different countries all around the world became available, and they can be purchased worldwide nowadays as well.
Alcoholic. This word comes from the two words of work and alcoholic, because an alcoholic needs to take another drink after another, after another, after another, to get to the same level or even to get to a better level of a mental state. And a workaholic does the same thing. He works more and more and more hours to be better or be at the same level which he already accomplished. So that's workaholic.
And now the question comes up why we need consumerism. As you can read it on this picture, consumers and people are bombarded by huge amounts of commercials every day, and this can be very dangerous if these advertisements not used in an appropriate manner. But consumerism teach people about their rights and about fair policies, so it's very important to our society and our economy.
Let me move on to the most difficult part of my presentation, because we don't really like to talk about these things, or we just don't dare, I don't know, because school carries a lot of stress and constraints of compliance. Actually, thanks to the tests and exams, students have to face it many expectations day by day, which on the one hand is useful because of the future difficulties, but on the other hand, sometimes the tension in them is no longer healthy. Some students suffer from sleep disorders, and other serious health problems can arise due to the long-term ordeal.
And now I would like to show you a short video about hope spots. Hope spots are places which are critical to the health of the ocean, and I really hope that you will enjoy it.
This is a hope spot, an area of the ocean painstakingly preserved by men and women whose lives depend on it. Today, there are more than 130 hope spots around the world. Thanks to Mission Blue, the organization founded by explorer and marine biologist Sylvia Earle, they are multiplying. From the Mediterranean to the Caribbean, from the Antarctic to the Pacific. We support this initiative because we know that our survival depends on the ocean. Safeguarding its fauna and flora ensures the future of our planet and makes it perpetual.
As everyone likes to do different activities, everyone spends their holiday differently. One way you can distinguish this is whether you like active or passive holidays. First, let's talk about active travelers. They usually like to make their trips full of experiences, and they love feeling productive. This can mean trying sports, going hiking or sightseeing, and active traveling also gives you the opportunity to try new activities like scuba diving or surfing. They always love to make the most of their trips, and they never focus on relaxing. Active travelers often try extreme sports like bungee jumping or skydiving.
We are almost at the end of the presentation, so I'd like to highlight the last topic, which are the popular jobs nowadays. The young have far more chances to find a fitting job for themselves due to the globalization and the world getting all connected. One of the most popular ones are computer science and media studies, which could have been impossible to imagine centuries ago. With the appearance of COVID-19, e-commerce or electronic commerce has become one of the most popular jobs in the world, hand in hand with a web developer and a software engineer or a data scientist.
All in all, I believe that acting is one of the most misunderstood professions there is, and it is truly a hard craft, and mastering it is almost impossible. However, Alan Rickman, one of my favorite actors, was close. Here are my references if you are intrigued by this subject and if you want to get into it yourself. Thank you for your kind attention. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the far clutch of circumstance, I have not winced or cried aloud. Under the bludgeoning of chance, my head is bloody, but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.